I've been a hustler since I was a kid. Again, that mentality of like, if you don't work, you don't eat. And so like,
Correct.
every day I get organized, and create a calendar. Like, here's, how much I'm, trying to earn in order to take care of my household. And here are all the resources that I have at my disposal, or things that I can do, things that I can create in order to make that happen. Normally, just opportunities come. I think that if you set the intentions for what you're trying to accomplish and you get organized about what you need in order to make that happen, I think that a lot of people get caught up in the idea that like you have to make big moves, you have to make big steps. But I think that a lot of it has to do with like being real with yourself, being honest with the capacity that you have and the amount of effort that you're willing to put into making the lifestyle that you want to create work, and then just doing it.
I'm super excited because I want to get into your story. So, give you a little background of our guest. So, you come from a singer. I see that you were singing, and I saw your Instagram account and doing all that, and then now you're transcending into this new world. It seems like, and I want to get into how you're helping people be able to create. And I saw on one of your profiles, it was like introvert, extrovert,
Yeah.
right?
Introverted extrovert.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So we have Chelle on the show. Welcome to the Liftoff experience.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having
Of
me.
course. How was your travels here?
It was long, and it's a little bit because of the rain. I feel like it's
Is it raining over there right now?
It was raining last night.
Oh,
and
last
it's been
night?
raining for the past couple of days, so it's kind of like murky outside.
Oh yeah. I
But
can imagine. It's too super humid right now. So in Arizona, we have monsoon season. And I
Yeah.
feel like right now, monsoon season isn't monsoon season. I feel like this is
Correct.
just rain.
Yeah.
Back to your story, though, and I appreciate your patience because holy cow, I thought she could just be in here. But typically she's not. And I thought maybe, oh, it'd be fine. But obviously you could tell she is just all over the place.
She
So,
wants to play.
yes, she does, which is awesome. We're just, we're trying to talk and have a conversation right now. So it's like, just like Jordan, she's my 7-year-old daughter. And she wants to come in and talk and all the things. And you know how it is, especially when they're at that age, they want to be the center of attention. Doesn't matter if it's a cat or a human. Like it's crazy how similar it could be.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But yeah, it's been super humid out here.
It has.
Very different than previous years because we haven't hardly had any rain. Which is nice to have. I'm grateful for that for sure.
Me too. I'm from here, so
Okay, born and raised.
yes. So I'm pretty used
nice.
to the fluctuations of weather, but I feel like this year has been particularly more humid than normal.
Yes.
And so I know like there's always that debate of like other states versus Arizona, and they always talk about there being a dry heat. Well, it's like we don't have dry heat anymore. So it's like, yeah.
It hasn't been at all, which is super interesting because of the humidity. And it's like the rain's great. I love it, especially at night because then it rains and then it cools everything off. And because there's no sun, that's beautiful.
Right.
It's just all throughout the day when it's like hot and it's not raining and it's just humid. So we'll see. I'm hoping for maybe more mild coming in like October, fall.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Normally that's when it starts to be cool the entire day.
Yes.
So I'll be excited for that as well.
Get a break at night as well because it's like you wake up first thing in the morning and my wife likes to run. I like to go to the gym. We both go to the gym together as well. And you wake up, you're like, all right, it's already hot. I don't have any motivation. I just got to keep going.
Right.
This is too much. So I want to get to the beginning of your story. So native in Arizona.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. My wife actually was born in Arizona in Tucson.
Nice.
We came from the Bay, so we've been here for about 6 years from San Francisco, and during COVID and all that. So love the just spiritual vibe of Arizona. Neighbors are super chill. Everyone's waving at you. Cops are a little strict when it comes to cars. That's a whole other conversation. So whereabouts were you born in Arizona?
Yes. I was born in Phoenix, specifically like the Maryville area.
Yeah.
My mother and father both went to Maryville High School. My dad's from the Bay Area, but
Really?
Yes, but my mom's from here. So
Okay.
definitely have been a part of Arizona my whole life.
Love it.
Always felt connected to the ocean.
Yeah.
So ultimately, that's like why they named me Chelle. Because they were like really into the ocean and things like that. So I've kind of taken on that energy and persona.
I love that. So then you find yourself wanting to probably just stay here, or do you think you might want to go back or not go back, but go closer and live closer to the ocean?
I think that I would like to be everywhere.
Okay.
Like I said, like I really identify with like the idea of like the shell and like the crab and the snail and like the fact that their home is like wherever they go.
Yeah.
And so like I would love to have different places everywhere, you know,
Okay.
so that
Me too.
whenever I do go somewhere, like I have a home to be at. And
Yes.
yeah.
I'm right there with you. I absolutely love that idea. Um, and it's interesting because for those that don't even know this, like this used to be under the water. And it's interesting because we go on hikes and we'll see shells and this and that. And I'm like, what the heck is there these shells coming from? We're like in the desert. And it's like, oh
Yeah.
my God. And then you look at some of the plants, you're like, that plant looks like it would be under the water. It's very interesting. And
Yeah.
because I believe right now, Arizona, is this sea level?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I think it's the sea level here, and then of course you can go to like Payson, Strawberry up there. It's like 6 to 7,000 feet above sea level. But I love the idea of, there's some people that like to be nomads and like to be anywhere and everywhere, and like maybe just have like a van, or they just have something that they can drive and live in and that type of thing. I think that's cool, and I also like the idea, like you're saying, because like we want to get a house up north in Payson. That's our next house. We want to get a beach house over in San Diego, and then have our house here, and just be able to be in different places.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can even make this studio in multiple different places,
Right.
where like y'all out there don't even know where I'm at and what studio it is. Maybe like, where's Waldo? You can kind of guess. Where's he at next? So growing up, did you grow up in a like musical household, and like were your parents musicians, or how did you grow up growing up here in Arizona?
Yeah, so I stayed with my mom, but my mother's bloodline is like very musically inclined. Musically, like scientifically,
Okay.
psychically, there's just a lot of creative gifts in on my mother's side of the family. Not to say that my father's side is like not significant. I don't really
Yeah.
know much about that side. Just because I've been here in Phoenix and my mother's family's here in Arizona. So
Okay. Is your parents still together?
no, they're not.
Okay. Nor is
Yeah.
mine. Okay.
Okay, and yeah, my mother is a musician. She writes
Wow, I love it.
both like R&B music and also hip hop.
Okay.
And my grandmother is a poet, and my aunt was like modeling, and she did gymnastics, and so my uncle was a keyboard player and a music
Wow.
producer. So yeah, and my other uncle is also a graphic designer, so he drew comics and things like that. So we literally have all of the art disciplines are
Yeah.
like jam packed in my family.
You have like all the pieces of the puzzle to
Yeah.
like produce an amazing artist. Like
Absolutely.
that's so sick.
Absolutely. If everybody could come together.
That's a total different conversation, right? Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Everyone has their own goals, aspirations, or whatever.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. So your parents, they split up early on?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So did mine, and so my mom went a different direction. And I was more raised with my mom as well, so I identify with that. And dad's not really in the picture much. And so your mom inspired you to think about singing and music and all that type of stuff. Is that how you kicked it off?
Yeah. I believe like since I was young, I mean, my parents did say that when I came out, I was singing.
Aw.
So, I don't know if that's true or not. You know how parents are. They like to
They
make
just make you feel
things
good.
more momentous than they really are.
Yeah.
But, yeah, ever since I was little, I always wanted to sing, and I used to watch my mom singing in the choirs. And whenever there was like something that she didn't necessarily want to do, I'd be like, I could do it. And
Okay.
they would kind of look at me like, who's this little girl just so bold?
Stepping up.
Like, yeah, put me on the stage. I'm ready. I'm ready to be
Wow.
that person. And so, yeah, I grew up like from a very early age, like just kind of knowing and feeling like I was meant to make music and
love that.
to express myself creatively.
Yeah.
And that has kind of like continued to build momentum as I've gotten older.
Wow, that's amazing. So I saw you're doing some things with like I think you were singing online with Fat Joe. I saw something with that,
Yeah.
which was huge. And then I saw like you had an album. I saw the Tea Party song. My wife's the international tea master, so I was like, honey, you gotta check this out. Like, look at this song.
That's funny.
I love that.
Yeah. So I've been doing music, like recording music for the past maybe 10 to 15 years. I had like other opportunities prior to that in childhood to like do
Mm.
other things, but not necessarily to a point where I was like in control of the art and in
Yeah.
control of the work that I was creating. So yeah, now I've been not only making music, but I also have a band, and we do like live music events, and
Wow.
things like that throughout the valley. And yeah, so just a lot of creative things going on.
Yeah, that's amazing. I feel like when you have your passion, your perfect purpose come together and you're in that flow state, it's not really work.
Yeah.
You're just vibing out, and it's just a beautiful blessing to be able to do the things that you're doing, which is so cool. I saw on your Instagram, and all links down below for Chelle will be there, so you can check her out, go to her social media, see what she's about. And so that's cool. So now you're doing this full time. Is that your full time gig as far as with your band and doing
Yeah.
that?
I would say that I kind of have like diverging paths right now. I do two
Oh, let's
things.
get into it.
Well, I do many things, honestly. I do
Okay.
a lot of things. So, right now, I'm also a voice instructor at the
Okay.
School of Rock. So, I teach kids all the way up to adults how to sing and how to
Mm.
perform live.
I gotta introduce you to my daughter.
I would love to. I'd
I
love
gotta.
to train. It's so fun.
She's not the most coachable, and she goes outside and she's like singing, and then you go out there and she's like, stop. She's like, what? I'm like, what are you doing? Singing? Go, keep going. No, like she doesn't want to like sing in front of anyone, but she says she's a good singer, so that's just and Cliff Note. I'll have to connect you.
Absolutely. So yeah, I do that part time, and then I'm an artist. I make music. I'm a music producer, so creating that, and also working with my live band, doing
Wow.
events throughout the valley. Right now, we have music trivia at
Okay.
a restaurant, which has been pretty interesting. And then I also, on the other side, I am a life coach.
I
And
saw
so
that.
a couple years ago, I got my certifications at Southwest Institute of Healing Arts
Okay. Yeah.
for hypnotherapy, life coaching, and integrative healing wellness.
Mm.
So prior to that, though, I was sales all the way through.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Dang. Okay.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, I've been in sales since I was a little kid. Even though my dad wasn't with my mother, he used to like do a lot of things to like show us how to make money. And
Yeah.
so he would actually take us to Costco and like have us pick out candy, and
Mm-hmm.
then we would go to school and we would like sell candy.
Hustling.
So
It's
yes,
off. Let's go.
so yeah, so I've been in sales like since then. When I graduated high school, I actually started selling health insurance.
Mm.
So I worked for a couple different health insurance companies, started out as an agent, worked my way all the way up to like being a trainer. And so
Mm-hmm.
I would train individuals on how to sell health insurance, how to pass the exam. I mean, I
Mm.
did that for maybe like 10 or 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a really stressful environment. I
Yeah.
think that in that world, there's a lot of like dog eat dog mentality, and crabs in a
Mm.
bucket, I feel like, just because I mean, most of the time it's commission based where it's like if you don't work, you don't eat. I just didn't really like the aggressiveness of like that environment. I do
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that it helped me to, I think, figure out how to quickly assess people's needs
Mm-hmm.
without necessarily asking, what do you need? And being able to
Yes.
like build rapport with other individuals and build connections and figure out based off of what they're communicating, like what would be best to help them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, doing health insurance sales, being in the sales environment, and also being a creative individual and making music.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I got tired of doing the sales thing, and so I went back to school and studied how to be a life coach, how to help other people
Mm.
actualize their creative potential. And so now I do that
Mm-hmm.
as well. I have a couple clients that I work with monthly, and I also do like pop up tarot reading experiences
Mm.
like at crystal shops in the valley as well.
Wow. I gotta say, dang girl, you have a very well diverse like palette, which is cool because life is like so fun, and I feel like so many people pick a lane
Yeah.
and they have that one lane and they go to school and they get their degree and they get their job and then they commute and they sit underneath fluorescent lights and they're in a cubicle and then they retire after they have their savings and their pension and their 401k, and it's just like, you see, there's a lot of opportunity out there, instead of just
Yeah.
doing one thing. So very interesting. So it sounds like, to take back from the top, so you're doing a little bit of left brain, right brain. So a little bit of
Yeah.
analytical and then a little bit of like the creative outlet with the music and what have you on that side. And it sounds like you're more drawn to the creative side more than like the maybe SOPs, KPIs, a lot of like the, left, I don't know if it's left or right, but the analytical side,
Yeah.
it sounds like.
Just less interested in the I mean, I wasn't passionate about health insurance. I think had it been anything else, it might have been something interesting. And maybe if it was music, I would be interested in it. Or, things in the esoteric realm because I've worked at crystal shops and done retail and I've literally done everything, all the things. I've been a beautician. I've done hair, makeup, like I've done so many things.
Wow.
And I think that for me, it's more about like being multifaceted and embodying that versus necessarily like picking a particular lane. Just because for so long, I think that my parents and society and just like life tries to communicate like you have to pick something. You can't do all the things. Yeah, like you can't do all the things. You can't be all the things. You have to pick a lane. And for me, I think that through like a series of trial and error, I have figured out a world that works for me. Because I wouldn't say that I don't get tired of like being creative or get tired of making music. And so like I like being able to go back and forth. Like one day I'm teaching voice lessons, the next day I'm at a crystal shop, the next day I'm doing a remote hypnosis session. And so I like the versatility of being able to wake up and say like, what is calling me today, or who is calling me, because opportunities do come, that are in both realms simultaneously. And so I kind of just like to live in the flow of that.
Yeah, I love that. I think that for viewers and listeners out there, something to take in consideration is like to think about the insurance world is very doggy. I know a lot of people that are in it, a lot of people that are making a lot of money, and they talk generational wealth, or they talk about legacy and the money, and God forbid if something happens, like are you prepared and all this type of stuff. And I think, not to go too deep into this topic, but I think that if people were being more fun about the fact that how life insurance can actually be something that could be the catalyst to leave a will, to do something that maybe can help generations or help your family, and put them on a scavenger hunt to like find different keys to unlock different doors that they don't have access to. And there's a movie that I saw that there was a mother-daughter, and the daughter knew that the mother was going to be passing on, and then the daughter had some things to learn the mom knew, and she had cancer and it was terminal, and so she ended up going and making her daughter go on this whole entire scavenger hunt just to see when she would be able to get like the will had something in it that she had to do these things before she would be able to get her inheritance.
Oh, I know what movie
you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know the name, but
I don't know the name either.
I know
but
what
she
you're
like
talking about.
she got like a different DVD to watch, and it was like her mom saying like, "Congratulations that you got past." It was so philosophical, but I think that in the insurance world, who's watching in that industry or wants to get in the industry, like let's be more creative with it, and have some fun. So, end quote. But I'm curious. So I want to go deeper into this because a lot of people will watch, and I can imagine if I'm on the other end and I'm watching this or I'm listening to this, and it's just like scratching my head. I'm like, what do you mean? What? Like, what? Like, hold on here. Like, you don't go to a 9 to 5. You're not in one specific lane. You're not getting a paycheck. So I want to go deeper into like the ideology, the philosophy. Like, do you have a schedule? Is every day just fresh and new and you just go with the flow? Or are you a little bit more organized and structured at all? Like, how do you do it? Like, I'm so curious.
I think that hope and prayers is part of that.
Okay.
But also, I think that for me, like, I've been a hustler since I was a kid. So, again, that mentality of like, if you don't work, you don't eat. And so, like, every day I, make it important to get organized, and create a calendar. Yeah, I have an agenda, and I fill it out for the month, and I say like, here's, how much I'm trying to earn in order to take care of my household. Here's what I've earned so far. And here are all the resources that I have at my disposal, or things that I can do, things that I can create in order to make that happen. And then normally just opportunities come. I think that if you set the intentions for what you're trying to accomplish and you get organized about what you need in order to make that happen, then I think the universe kind of meets you in the middle. There's a principle that I've taken from like Christianity where it's like faith without works is dead. And so like if you're not actively putting in effort to actualize your dreams, and your visions for the future, or like the freedom that you're trying to create, then it can be very hard to live that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
If you're not dedicated, if you're not diligent, if you are the type of individual that needs safety and security in the way of a 9 to 5. And so I wouldn't say that I don't have stress or that I don't ever, worry about where it's coming from. But I will say that I've been in this industry and working in this way for maybe, I would say, the past 6 years. And every single time that I have felt like, okay, maybe I should go back into like the insurance world, or maybe I should go into training or get a 9 to 5. Normally it doesn't work out. Like,
Wow.
I'll apply, I'll go through the interview process, and I'll get like rejected. Or like recently, earlier this year, I went through the entire process and the CEO actually quit.
What?
So I think that the synchronicities of those things happening
Yeah.
continue to like show me that I don't really have a choice in this necessarily.
Yeah.
And so it pushes me to continue to do the work.
Wow.
But I don't think that there's never been a time where I was like being completely like sure of it. But I think that the universe and synchronicities, like I said, happen to reassure me that I'm on the right track, and that it's really more about like the opportunities meeting me versus like there being something that I need to continue to do in order to make that happen. And so like it always comes. I always get opportunities, and sometimes I go out and search for them, and sometimes I don't. And that's how things have worked for me so far.
Dude, absolutely amazing, powerful stuff. And that's why I like this platform, because less of a podcast, more of an experience, and to get into your world and understand how you tick and like how you do what you do. And it's just so free flow different. And I think that like to empower people out there to think different and to think for themselves and not just be in a box that we've been told that we are supposed to be in is so beautiful. So I want to go deeper now. I want to go deeper. Okay. So I want to go deeper into the ideology and the philosophy of, because you said sometimes it comes, I still deal with stress sometimes, I still, think about where is it going to come, but I let everything in divine happen. Universe provides, and it all works out, and it has last past 6 years. Now, when you think about like goal setting or vision boards or the future, like, do you kind of have a grasp of what that looks like, or are you more so just keeping it simple because you want to free flow and just kind of have things kind of go as they go throughout the month? Or are you thinking like, hey, in 5 years, like this is my goal, this is what I want to do, and kind of have like that plan?
I think that I visualize what I would like to experience. And then from there, I try to create baby steps towards that goal. Specifically because I kind of work in like a roundabout way where it's like every day I'm doing something different, but all still fitting in the realm of, like you said, creativity. I think that it's really I think that a lot of people get caught up in the idea that like you have to make big moves, you have to make big steps. For example, like if someone's working a 9 to 5, they think they have to like quit their job and completely like submit to like being in this type of work style.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of it has to do with like being real with yourself, being honest with the capacity that you have and the amount of effort that you're willing to put into making the lifestyle that you want to create work.
Yeah.
And then just doing it, And even if it's as small as like, I don't know, creating a website, it could be as small as reaching out to a person and asking them if they're interested in hypnotherapy services. And I think that, again, it goes back to that, like, meeting the universe where you're at and understanding that like there's effort and continuous striving that you have to make in order to make it work. And if you don't feel like you have the capacity to work in that way, or if you feel like it's too stressful, then it's about figuring out, like, reeling it back in and saying, okay, what is a baby step that I can take that feels safe for me, that will also continue to encourage me and motivate me to continue to take small steps towards my goal.
Got it. All right, let's go deeper. Ready?
Yes.
So, being an artist, coming out with some albums and going down that path, why not go all in to be an international star, which then can still give you the opportunity of esoteric work or going into tarot reading or that type of stuff? Is it not a calling for you, or you just want to like be more like open to just dabbling? Or I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think that kind of like telling a little bit about my story would make more sense in
Yeah,
that
let's get into it.
regard.
Heck yeah.
So like I said, I've always wanted to sing when I was a little girl. Like I used to write music and perform on stage. And so when I got into high school, American Idol was like very popular at the time. And so, and right before I got into high school, there was an Arizona Idol where it was like pretty much like a local opportunity to get it, like a free ticket to do the auditions.
Okay.
And so I went through that process. I ended up on TV. I didn't end up getting selected, but I still went to American Idol anyway because, I don't know if you've heard the stories of like other singers where it's just like people tell you all the time, like, you should audition for this, you should audition for American Idol. And so I felt confident in my abilities and other people felt confident in my abilities. And so I was so sure, that like, okay, I'm going to get on this show. I'm not even going to go to high school. I'm going to be a big star on American Idol.
Heck yeah.
And I auditioned and it was really what the individual told me. And at that time, like, my brain wasn't developed. I was a kid. And so like your brain doesn't really fully develop until you're around 25. And so I think I really took to heart what the individual said to me. He was like, you have a really strong voice, but it's not what we're looking for. It's not what we need for this thing. And so, like I said, I had visualized my life changing from that moment. And I never in my mind thought that I would have gotten rejected. I was like, I'm positive that I'm going to make it and this is what's going to happen. And when that didn't happen, it really like broke me as a child.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And so, I was like in 8th grade. So what is that? Like 15, 14 years old. And so like going 15 years, feeling confident in my ability and my voice and in what I had to offer the music world, and then having a large platform. At the time it was like really popular. That was like what, 2009, 2010. And so it really broke my spirit, and I think at that point I lost confidence.
Oh no.
The confidence that I had like growing up, it definitely dwindled because of that experience. And I still continued to like make music. I still continued to sing. I still continued to perform. And then like more time down the line, I ended up getting a record deal from an individual. Yeah, congrats. But
wait.
However, so these individuals, they had already had an artist, but they ended up, and so like they, had reservations about like my image. They had reservations about the music that I was making. I didn't have any creative freedom. So like all the lyrics were already done. They would pretty much send me her music and tell me to like memorize it and learn it and then go re-record it essentially.
Interesting.
And so that was a little bit, I would say, like upsetting as well, because it's like, well, if you believe in me, you believe in my talent, you believe in what I have, then what sense would it make for me to now take on something that you've already developed for someone else? Pretty much taking a template and putting it on me.
Yep.
And so that wasn't really the best experience. So it also kind of just continued to dwindle my capacity to imagine that world that I saw as a child.
Yeah.
And so also, at the time I was overweight, and so during that time, more specifically than any other time, there was a lot of scrutiny around like being overweight. Okay. And so I didn't necessarily fit the mold of like a superstar in that regard. And so I would always get told like, yeah, you can sing, like you're amazing, but you got to lose weight. You got to dress this way. You have to do this thing. You have to sing these words. And so I think that it definitely impacted me. It impacted my ability to see myself as worthy of the dream that I saw, so long ago. And so I think that because of that, it didn't shy me away from still continuing to perform and make music, but it didn't inspire me to go higher. It didn't inspire me to like take it all the way and take it as serious as I wanted to. And then just continuing to deal with like the challenge of being a female in like more of a male dominated industry as far as like creating music and getting into the studio. I didn't have experience making music, and so I always had to go to a producer who most of the time was male. And so just like having to deal with the my sexuality being, compromised, and individuals trying to take advantage of me because I didn't have the ability to create my own music, by, saying like, hey, if you sleep with me, I will produce your music, I'll create your album. And so just dealing with all of the things that the darkness of the music industry before I even got the opportunity to experience the exposure. I think that it really created a challenging, I think, fear in my mind, or just insecurity in my mind, that even though I had this talent and this ability, because I didn't have the image that matched society at the time, that I couldn't be respected as a creative in the industry. And so I went through a lot of experiences. I had children, which also kind of slows down the process and kind of forces you to say like, well, if it's not working now, if it's not creating money and income, I have to find another way to take care of my family, to take care of my children. And so I don't think that I ever left music, but it definitely was on the back burner for a long time, just because of all of the scrutiny that I experienced, all of the trauma that I experienced in the entertainment industry, and just like not feeling like I could like get past that threshold. And so now that I'm older, I mean, I've learned to care less about what society feels in regards to what an artist looks like, what a creative person is. I went to music school and learned how to produce my own music.
There you go.
And
Let's
so
go.
I think that being able to gain that independence really encouraged me to utilize my voice again, and to again not really care about how other people perceive me, except for the individuals that like my music and resonate with my story and feel connected to me. So I think that it's sad that that was the journey that I had to go on to get to this point, but I don't regret it, because it also gave me the opportunity to try other things. And because I've done so many other things, I'm able to coach other individuals from an experiential perspective versus some psychologists and counselors and things like that, they haven't experienced any life. They've, went the straight way. They went to school, they went to college, they graduated college, and here they are, versus me. I've, like, in a roundabout way, had to try many different things in order to get to where I am now.
Wow.
So, I think that even now, like back then, I thought that I could, like, singing was my only way to share my voice and to make an impact. And I think that the life that I experienced showed me that my voice means much more than like music could ever really encompass, and that there are more words and more things that I have to say and that I need to say that could make just as much of an impact as like the music aspect.
Wow. We have Liftoff. Let's go. That is absolutely, like, first off, thank you. Thank you for allowing the opportunity for the viewers and listeners to hear your story and to get deeper into what you went through to become who you are today, to serve those who you once were. I think it's so beautiful to be able to be vulnerable and to be open and to be honest. And that's why I like this to be an organic experience. I had no preconceived notions. I didn't do a lot of research specifically or had any type of script here. I just wanted to be like a free flow opportunity for co-creation. And the industry is very interesting. And I do see, on a positive note, the industry's shifting a lot. And like, I grew up listening to Bay Area, E40, like, Too Short, like all these people from like the Bay. And now things have shifted, and I'm seeing that like there's more artists coming out with maybe still kind of like that vibe and the beat, but the lyric is completely different.
Yeah.
You're hearing like positive affirmation type stuff coming out, esoteric conversations coming out. I'm hearing a lot of like everything about like raising your vibe, the frequency. Like my daughter, Michael Jackson movie just came out, and I was doing research on his music, and it's all in like the 444 frequency. And so when you listen to it, if you don't already know, everyone out there, it makes you feel good because of the frequency it's giving. he was way ahead of his time. I swear, he's so beautiful.
Definitely.
And so that's where I feel like, who knows, it could be another opportunity for you in the future to do something different, to be able, because I saw that you were singing on your Instagram with the singing bowl, and my wife has singing bowls too. She's a certified blend specialist, she's certified tea master. She's also went through and got her, so she's a teacher. She taught for 16 years. She was on the show, y'all. You can watch her episode, but she also got her cert in meditation. So she does mindful meditation practice with tea. And so I'm drinking her matcha tea right now. And so we just got, well, we love matcha. We got 20 pounds here. We just got 20 pounds from Kakagawa, if I could say it, Japan. We're just in there in March. My team's international in the Philippines, and so we flew out to Japan, and we got to see her provider. And so she just ordered 20 pounds, and then we have pumpkin pie coming out here soon. So that's her seasonal one, and then this one is vanilla. Then she has strawberry and pineapple. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'll have to cook you up.
Yes, I love matcha.
When we're done. So that's your water, by the way, because I know you said like some water, but like now I'm gonna have to be like, hey, honey, bring in some matcha. What's your favorite flavor?
I just like plain.
Just plain matcha?
Yeah.
Okay. She has the plain. That's not what she specializes in.
Yeah, vanilla is cool too.
Vanilla too? Okay, cool. Let's see. Because we're vibing here, so I'm just gonna text the wife. Hey, honey, today's guest loves matcha. She said she would love to try your vanilla. Just saying, if you have a minute. How old are your kids?
My oldest is 10. He'll be 11 in November, and then my youngest turned 9 in April.
Oh, I love it. I just have
boys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I just have one. Just Jordan, daughter. She's 7. She'll be 8 in September 15th. She's just almost 8, right around the corner.
Oh.
Yeah, which is awesome. So you go from the music, all that stuff comes up for you, and then in your story, the transition. So like the life insurance to the transition into kind of where you're at now, kind of, it seems like you're transcending into more of an esoteric opportunity to help people shine bright and to be able to follow their passions. So give the viewers and listeners some context, the transition there. So when all that stuff happened with singing, did you go directly into life insurance? Just got a traditional job? Like what happened?
Yeah. So, I've done a lot of jobs, honestly.
Yeah.
So in high school, when I turned 16, I got my first job. I was a cashier at a grocery store.
Okay.
And
I've been there.
so I just continued to work. And then when I graduated high school.
The barista said, can you have almond milk?
Yes.
All right. She ever got you?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love matcha.
Heck yeah. You'll love hers then.
So I lost my train of thought.
You're good. So you're at grocery store doing
yes. So after that, I ended up going to ASU. I originally was going for musical theater education.
Okay.
And then some things with my scholarship didn't work out. And so I ended up at South Mountain Community College studying education. And then from there, I ended up just getting like jobs. I mean, during that time, I didn't have like a stable income. My parents, we didn't necessarily grow up like with a silver spoon. We grew up in Maryville, which is like, I would say it's the ghetto. And so, we didn't grow up with everything that we needed. And so I, from a young age, was like willing to go and do what I needed to get what I needed to provide for myself. And so through a series of like just applying for different jobs, I ended up at a health insurance job. It was like one of the highest paying jobs at the time. And so, I went and got my license, and then I was doing health insurance. And during that time, people saw that, I was very helpful, that I always love to show people how to do things. I'm a very quick learner. I love to learn. And so they saw the potential in me to be a trainer. And so I was doing training for a very long time. And I think that it definitely taught me a lot about like going after what I want, learning how to close the sale, learning how to kind of understanding the psychology of just sales and working with people and marketing and things of that nature. And so, like I said, I think that I was like at the pinnacle of like success. I was making like, I want to say like 75, 80K a year. And it just wasn't a good environment for me. It was very stressful. I actually just recently got diagnosed with a neurodivergent disorder. Whole time I didn't know at the time. And so also like dealing with that and not really knowing, it just, there was so much anxiety around that atmosphere and environment. And so I think that I have always been an individual that people came to for advice. People have a tendency to just open up to me like very easily, feel very comfortable around me. And also, I feel like I'm like the queen of side quests because like every time I'm like, oh yeah, I did that, I did that. Like also during that entire time, I was a youth pastor.
Wow.
And so I was in the church, like, you know, counseling people in the Christian faith. And
Yeah.
at the same time doing sales. And I think around that time, I just was really just stressed out. I think stressed out and then just like dealing with like, I think the psychological impact of Christianity and just like how scrutinizing that also is, where it's just like you have
my
to be
God.
perfect, you have to live a certain way, and if you don't live that way, then like you're gonna go to hell, you're gonna be in eternal fire and damnation. And so I
Yes.
was very like hypercritical of myself, of my life, and I think at some point I just got tired of being that way and just
Yeah.
being like, why am I so like, why do I hate myself so much? And why am I doing these things to myself that, you know, ultimately don't, and why am I putting myself in situations just
Oh
to
my
make
God, for
money,
sure.
you
Yeah.
know? And it's like, at that point, you know, I was taken care of financially, but I wasn't happy on the inside. I didn't feel like I was using my gifts and my abilities to the fullest capacity. And then also just a lot of things were going on, like trauma wise, like connected to the church. And it definitely like brought me into like this spiritual journey where I was just like questioning everything. Where it's just like, what's happening in my life? You know, do I really believe this? And do I really want to continue to live life in this way where I'm just so like just so depreciating of myself, you know, just constantly creating this scenario where I'm downing myself instead of really embracing who I am. And so yeah, I separated from the church, and like through that time I really got into tarot
Mm-hmm.
and astrology
Mm-hmm.
and numerology, and I actually ended up finding out.
Oh, we have Reds in the house. Red Shell Reds. We got our barista here, Red Sand Tea.
This is
Check
so
her out.
pretty.
Enjoy, just mix it.
Thank
Thank you, honey.
This is
So,
so cute.
yeah, she's amazing. And also, there's like you were talking about, there's a lot of crystals, and this
Yeah.
crystal here is supposed to charge your water or your drink. So that's why I have that one there.
Nice.
And
This is selenite.
yep, selenite
Nice.
there, selenite there, and then we have the purple crystal. I don't remember all the names all the time. And then like these are grounding mats for us to ground. And so even
Nice.
though it's very much technical in here, like a lot of tech, and when it's not as hot, I can open these up. We have the pool out there, and then we can just like be in nature a little bit and be in here with all the lights and LEDs and tech and stuff like that. So wanting a cool co-creational type opportunity to make it so it's fun. What do you think?
This is really good.
Oh,
And I don't really like sweet stuff. I'm not really like a sweet tea person,
Yeah,
but I feel like this has like just the right amount of sweetness.
let's
So
go.
it's really delicious.
She is a 5 times figure competition she did bikini. So I met her on Instagram, and she created a whole company for people that don't like they have a sweet tooth, but they don't want all the calories and the
Yeah.
sugar. So
This is
that
really
has
good.
no sugar. She put just probably just maybe a teaspoon or a tablespoon tops of almond creamer, and then this monk fruit in there, and then she puts the vanilla extract, and then it's all natural. So
Yeah, this is really good.
it's interesting, huh? It's different. It's
Yeah.
different. So
Where can I
that's her
set
thing.
this over
Yeah,
here?
you can sit it over here if you want, and move whatever you want over, and make yourself comfortable at home. So tarot reading. So you started getting into that because you started
Yes.
questioning everything. This
Yes.
is good. I'm liking this
Yes.
story. This is amazing.
So yeah, got into tarot, started studying tarot, went and got certified to do tarot,
Okay.
and then started studying astrology. And from there, I just decided that I didn't want to go back to health insurance. And so like I just would call around like different astrology stores, new age shops, and be like, are you guys looking for a reader? Or and so I did that, and then I also read for other people at the same time. And the reason why it was easy for me to transition from like the church into tarot was because in the church, I did, what the Christian would consider prophesying. And so, like, being able to intuit, and I used to have dreams, intuitive dreams, that would come to pass. And I would, communicate to individuals about the dreams that I would have, and they would be true.
Interesting.
And so, from a young age, I would always have like very vivid dream life. I used to astral project when I was a kid.
Okay.
Didn't understand what it was at the time.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Is that my body right there? No.
Yeah, like very heavy sleep paralysis all of the time. And I used to see like figures all of the time. And, obviously because I was in the Christian world, they would see that as like, oh, that's demons, or that's like a shadow, or that's like not of God, and you got to pray it away. And so yeah, but so transitioning into tarot wasn't as hard. I feel like what I tell people in regards to like going from prophesying to tarot is that almost it's kind of like creating a middleman so that individuals aren't intimidated by me just going straight to source and saying like, I see this about you, I feel this energy about you, or I hear something and telling someone straight from like my mouth. It gives them a physical medium to look at and say like, okay. And also for me to be like, okay, I'm just like the middleman. I'm not the individual who's actually communicating this thing with you. And so I just went full into it, and I was just like, yeah, I could make money off this and take care of my family. And I also love what I do and love to do it. And so I was able to transition pretty easily. I was doing tarot readings, Vision Quest. I don't know if you ever heard about that store, but I went from there to like a couple other places. And then I was like, you know what? I really don't necessarily enjoy working in this type of environment. I really like to work with individuals one-on-one, like in a private setting versus like so out in the open in a store. And so I decided to, during that time, I went back to school and went to Sweeha and graduated. And so, yeah, I created my business and started to take on clients, and I've worked with all kinds of clients from like ranchers to, presidents of like certain things and CEOs. And so I don't just necessarily like work in the way of like a lot of tarot readings is like, well, when is my person going to come to me, or when am I going to, can I be rich? Or a lot of the stuff that I work with, it's like coaching and tarot. So it's like more intuitive coaching, more intuitive guidance versus it being like I see this in your future and this card represents something. And I think that the cards create an opportunity for, I think, individuals who are closed off or not really open initially to open up, because the cards will, most of the time, they'll tell me something that I never got from them. And so being able to confirm that for them, it really opens them up to be able to be honest with me and transparent with me about things. And so, yeah, I really love what I do. And the transition was just me being tired of working in an industry that I wasn't passionate about. And also just the anxiety of like just always constantly having to work hard every single day and also just like being a representation of like a company. Ultimately, all of the agents that I would train, like if they didn't make their quota, then that reflected on me, know? And so it was a different kind of stress. And so I figured like, if I'm going to be stressed, I would rather have my own business and have a little bit more control over what I'm doing every day versus like being told what to do and having a set structure of things. And even if things don't make sense, having to follow that, And so it wasn't necessarily hard. The only thing that was hard was just going back to like square one with like income and finances, and having to like work from the ground up again in regards to that.
Yeah, for sure. That's an amazing story. It's interesting how you went basically the school of hard knocks. You went through all of these things to then start to be like, am I committed to this? Like, what's going on here? And similarly, my wife, she used to be in choir, and she was involved in, like, she went and did missions, and she was involved in church, and she was Christianity, all the things. And to this day, her mom's very religious and all the things. And she was also questioning things as well. So I've had similar conversations with my wife, in contrast to relate to what you're saying. And it's very interesting how you went from all of those things from, we're going to use the terms, I'm going to go a little bit deeper here, of third dimension. So you went from a third dimension, physical, dense reality, which is what we're seeing here, what we see and feel and touch, to then more of a esoteric third to fifth dimension, going deeper into the metaphysical and really kind of understanding like, what does this mean? And then coming to fruition to your gifts, to feel your gifts. And I feel like the cards are a gateway to individuals to go from the third to the fourth to the fifth, and to transcend from a physical to an esoteric type of conversation, because people are so physical. It's like, yes, this is a cell phone. Yes, this is a remote. Yes, this remote sends a signal to that TV to do something. And all you're doing is receiving a signal to be able to, from some other entity, spirit, what have you, to then help someone else out there. And so we actually had Casey on. We had Casey, two Caseys on. So not the most recent, but the Casey before. She's a medium.
Yeah, I
And
watched that
did you watch
episode.
it?
Yeah.
She's beautiful. And her thing is that she's never really like actually got on video much, and she comes from a Mormon background, and so she also had a lot that she was getting challenged on, and plus 5 kids, and then her husband traveling and all this crazy stuff that she went through. But what she went through got her to where she's at today, and I'm actually trying to help her transcend to the next level, put some bumpers around her at scale so she can help people like at a total different level.
Yeah.
That's what I do for a living, is I do all of that: the logos, the branding, the websites, the social, the video editing, all like that's what I do as far as
Amazing.
my company. I'm just on the front end. I'm just sales. We primarily work with real estate agents, but getting into the Liftoff experience, I see a lot of individuals in the spiritual community that need a bit more help when it comes to SOPs and KPIs on the analytical side, because they're so like, wow, and
Yeah.
like free, that sometimes we need to slow down and be like, all right, hold on, let's put some bumpers around me. Let's guard my time a little bit more. Let's be a little bit in the third and the dense reality, but then also be free in, fourth or fifth reality of consciousness, to be able to be in that world. So I agree with you. Being free, and like you can give anyone a reading anywhere, like on a Zoom, Google Meets. You don't even have to be in person with them, which is so beautiful. So then the cards, like give them some context. Like if someone out there, viewers and listeners, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give myself some cards or whatever. I'm gonna try to do my own reading or whatever. Like, do cards like just come to you? Are you looking them up on Amazon? Like, does it make a difference? Like, do you speak to the person to figure out what deck you're going to use for that specific situation? Do you just have one deck? I'm just kind of curious a little bit more to go deeper into it.
That's great questions. I think my philosophy of life is, I think I'm kind of at the meeting point between like the metaphysical and the scientific. And so I think studying more about the brain and how belief works and how the mind has a lot of power to physically, mentally, and emotionally change you and heal you on the inside.
Amen.
I think that for me, it definitely makes me less, I think, concerned about those things. I think that, I mean, there's things, I feel like I feel gravitated towards certain things, like naturally there's a flow.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily, I think it's different every time.
Okay.
I think it depends on the person and the energy that I pick up from them.
Yeah.
And the things that I feel they'll be more receptive to. If it's like a one-on-one situation where an individual reaches out to me, if it's like in a store, I mean, most of the time I'll bring my own things already, and so it's just using whatever I've brought that day. But I don't think that you need cards to necessarily do the work that I do. I think that it's more about just figuring out what modality works best for the person. And I think that that's where like my sales background kind of comes in, where it's like I'm assessing their needs, I'm having a conversation with them, I'm building rapport and learning more about them. And through that conversation saying like, okay, I think tarot might be the best avenue to work for you. Whereas opposed to another individual, I might say like hypnotherapy might be good. Or for some person, maybe it's just that they need someone to talk to that can give them unbiased advice. Or, maybe an individual just needs help getting their ideas or their goals organized. And so I think that I kind of work more in the same way that I live my life. I kind of work in a very roundabout way where it's like I have all of these tools that can support you, and through conversation and building a connection with you, we can kind of work together to figure out what medium we utilize to help you get to where you want to go.
Wow. Absolutely beautiful. I love that. So So you're going down this road and you started this business and then you're working with these individuals. You're at the stores, you left the stores. Now you're just independent. How long has it been now since you've been independent going? Is this the 6 years?
Yeah, about 6 years.
Yeah.
And I still do like pop-up shops at like crystal stores and things
Okay.
like that. But for the most part, yeah, I'm just
I love
on my
that. I love
own.
that. So for some context, so say for instance, someone's listening, and I like this to be the catalyst, and this could be you, that has never really gone down any of these roads we're talking about, and they're just like, "What is all this?" Or, of course, her contact information is going to be down below. So what is it like? So when you go through the assessment, so is the assessment, just to get them to wrap their brains around this, the assessment, is that like a consultation that is like complimentary, or is it like okay, we're going to do this, so then this is your fee, and then we're going to do the consultation and go whatever it is, hypno or tarot, or just maybe having a conversation? Like, how do you navigate your process? Like, what does it look like?
I think it's different depending on the individual. Sometimes people are inspired by what they see on my social media, and it's a specific thing. Like I've done like podcasts and talked about hypnotherapy. And I've had clients like reach out because they liked the video and they're like, I'm interested in hypnosis. And so from there, like with hypnosis, there's an intake that has to be completed prior to. And so I'll send them the intake form. It goes over like what hypnotherapy is, and it asks specific questions to determine whether or not they're a good fit for hypnotherapy, because not everyone is capable of mentally like going through the process of experiencing hypnosis. It can create adverse effects versus like being helpful for them. And so with that, there is an intake. So that appointment, I normally would schedule it in the same way that I would schedule a tarot reading. And normally tarot, honestly, is the way that people reach out most. Like people are interested in tarot. They say, hey, I would like a tarot reading. We set up the session. And then sometimes through just doing a basic reading, I figure out more information about what their experience is. They feel more comfortable opening up about what they need. And then there's other services, or we just continue with tarot. But I would say that I think tarot is kind of like the gateway, like you said, where it piques someone's interest because it's not as personal. It's not as like in your face, where it's like I'm directly communicating with you, or there's any work that the person has to do in order to gain that clarity. It's mostly just like me being the middleman or the advocate for them. And through the process of like reading the cards, I think that things come out where it's like, okay, I think you'd be a good candidate for this thing. Or, I don't think that we need tarot cards. I think that we can just have a regular conversation about this and not rely on tarot to give us a yes or no answer. Because sometimes I think that when people get tarot readings, they're coming to get the answers that they already know most of the time inside of them. And so, and other times it's like they have a desire to do a thing, but they want someone else to tell them which way to go, so that if it doesn't work out, they have someone else to blame for why it doesn't work.
Chelle, it's your fault. I swear. We talked. You said all this stuff.
You told me I was going to be married next month. Okay, but did you go out, like the reading said, and go on a date, and put yourself out there, or did you stay at home, because there's work that comes with, getting clarity from the universe. Like there's actions that you have to take in order to actualize that. And so I think that if a person is really interested in transforming their life and getting through things, or even really truly gaining understanding of like why things happened the way that they did, then the readings kind of give them that space. And I think that there are also individuals that I read for that only scratch the level of tarot. It's like they can't get any deeper because they're not willing to just like have a real conversation with themselves and really face what they're dealing with and what they're experiencing. And so they just want that like instant gratification, or like the yes or no answer. And so I think that, it's just a different experience. And I think that if anyone is interested in tarot, I would definitely suggest that they research tarot first. I wouldn't persuade anyone against getting their own tarot cards, because ultimately tarot is about giving you clarity on something your intuition has already communicated to you. And so it should feel affirming versus like it being something completely new or foreign to you. Or at least the way that I approach tarot. And I don't think that everyone approaches it that way. way, there are a lot of soothsayers out there that will do a tarot reading and say like, oh, I see this spirit on you. And in order for you to get that spirit off of you, you have to go through these rituals and you have to pay all of this money to get these certain items in order to help yourself heal. And I don't come from that perspective. I believe that we all have the capacity to help ourselves heal, and tarot and anything in the esoteric world is just a tool that helps you get to where you already have the capacity to get on your own. And some people are capable of just working with themselves and getting through it, but I think other people need those tools, those visuals, and subconsciously those tools also impact them as well. The colors, the sounds, like you said, and many other modalities and things. It just helps to get individuals to trust themselves more versus like there are a lot of readers that want you to constantly go to them every single day. I'm not that one. If you read with me so much, most of the time I'll just end up giving you one of my tarot decks because I don't. It's not because I don't have the patience. It's because I have an ethical responsibility to help you, you know? And if I feel like you're just coming to me, you know, again, for that instant gratification or that yes or no, when I know that you have the capacity to think for yourself and act and make your own decisions, then, you know, it feels uncomfortable for me in a way.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely love that. I think first and foremost, kudos to you, because when you go down this road, y'all, you do have to be careful about those individuals. There's a lot of people now on social media that are like, there's no hashtags. If you've seen this video, it's for a reason. You're going to hit the lottery. Like the video, say claim, and watch it 3 times and share it with a friend. Like, cool. You want the algorithm to show your video to more people. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't work. But then they'll also be like, oh, well, click the link on my profile to download my course and yada, yada, yada. And so there's a lot more people that are getting into this spiritual, esoteric new world, because I think that we're at the beginning, the precipice of this awakening and the veil coming up and like everything that's like, it's like crazy right now. I feel like we're on fast forward.
Yeah.
You go on social media, you see all this stuff happening, you have disclosures, you have this, you have that. And like, finally, it's just like, I feel like we're getting to like a new norm coming.
Yeah.
And so we've had for so many years. And so I had this download when you're talking, you seem like someone who is just the light to help others be able to shine brighter with their own light and give them the tools that they didn't know, or the keys that they didn't know that they had access to open doors that they didn't even know that they had access to be able to get to a different level of enlightenment. I feel like we all as a human species has the ability to be able to be mediums and to have out-of-body experiences and to astral project there, have the ability to tap in with with the tarot cards and have the readings. And it reminds me of when I first started as an entrepreneur, and it's still huge, looking in the mirror, self-reflecting, eating with a purpose, getting enough steps in, getting enough water in. Like I was listening to a guy on Facebook, and he said that he had stage 3 colon cancer, and he just said nope. And he was like, as passionate as I was as an alcoholic to drink this alcohol, I'm as passionate to eat this entire lemon, to eat this entire red onion, to eat these foods that's going to put my body back into a homeostasis space. Whether that's mindset, starts in the mind, and meditating, and then eating, and then recentering. And so that's where I appreciate you coming on today, because this is exactly what I want this to be for people. I want them to watch this, and it's almost like a remembrance. There's just remembering. And I feel like that's kind of what you're doing. So do you have any stories of anyone that you've gone through this process with, whether it's a hypno or tarot, or just having conversations, and then like they had like that moment and they were just like, do you care to tell us? They're gonna say name like that, but
there's this one client that I had. I'll just give this example. She has a ranch in Tucson, and she deals with horses, and she ended up suffering from a brain injury, where she had kind of lost her bearings and kind of needed to really develop a sense of like consciousness and really regaining that, really regaining a sense of like having an understanding of like the world, the way things work, the way that her body worked. And so when we started working together, it was strictly tarot. We would read tarot. I would read tarot for her in regards to like, sometimes I would read about her horses. Sometimes I would read about like the employees that she was kind of having challenges with in regards to like learning how to work with other people with different personalities. So dealing with someone with like a brain injury in that realm, it's really, it can be hard for them to trust themselves, because it's like, well, I can't even trust my own brain to tell me what day it is or what my name is.
I'm out of tune here.
Right. And so we would read together, and eventually we would stop using the cards and we would just have that conversation, because as we kind of went on, she started to gain more and more confidence in herself, more and more confidence in what her intuition was telling her in regards to, you know, her business, the way that she would take care of things. And now I don't read for her at all. You know, every now and then she messages me and just tells me how impactful the work that we did together was. But I think that's the goal with any client of mine. I don't want to be someone's reader for the rest of my life. You know, that's not even what I want to do for the rest of my life, because it is a service, and working in the service industry, there's only so much you can do until you can't physically do it anymore. And so working to find easier ways to build income, or more passive ways to build income, so that that work doesn't feel so mandatory, you know, in order to take care of my family. And so I think that the biggest thing for her was, you know, having that desire, you know, having the desire to be more in tune with herself, and feeling motivated to take risks, you know, in order to really determine what she was made of on the inside. And I think that there was a lot of conversations that we would have. And it's interesting because like the things that were going on with her horses were like ways that she could relate to her own life. And so like nature in a way was like imitating her real life. And so I was able to like help her understand the bridge, where I would be like, okay, you found a snake in your, you know, in your yard. And she was like, I just wanted to understand like the spiritual meaning of that. And so, you know, being able to help her put the pieces of the puzzle together, but not necessarily in a way where it's like communicating with her like, yeah, this is what that meant. I would, you know, be like, well, what do you think it means? Okay, well, now let's ask the cards if that is in alignment. And doing it that way, I think, just helps that person to understand that like it's not me doing the work, it's not me that is coming to these conclusions, that the gift and the ability is within you. And it's more about, like you said, helping you to enhance that gift, helping you to enhance that ability, versus creating another coping mechanism. And we don't need any more coping mechanisms in this world. And so I think that that one was really inspiring to me, because you know, she just gave me a lot of feedback in regards to how the work that we would do in her personal life and with the horses would help her business, help her think about new ways to develop her business. And so that was like one of the most inspiring stories for me.
That's beautiful. What came up for me when you were talking about it is said that when you think about consciousness and you think about our bodies and you think about our brain is almost like an antenna that picks up basically frequency, and the frequency that we pick up and the downloads that we receive is like how we navigate certain things. And so it sounded like she was out of alignment, which then you helped her bring her back into alignment. And it seems like a lot of people out there are wanting and craving to get back into alignment, because like you said, there's enough vices and there's enough distractions. And so many people are just subconsciously distracting themselves and even consciously distracting themselves out of alignment to what it is that they want to do and where they want to go and how they want to basically move forward in life. And so it's beautiful that you help her and you help people really get back into that alignment so they can be back into frequency and attunement. Because I think when you think about the issues are in the tissues, and when you think about when you're out of alignment frequency's off, you're stressed out, you have all these things coming up. Next thing you know, you get migraine or your stomach hurts and all these things that happen. It's like happening to you for a reason. And if you don't self-evaluate and you don't do the work, then you stay out of frequency long enough. Unfortunately, the issues are in the tissues, and then the tissues start to have illness. And then as you get illness, if you don't get back into an alignment, then it's almost like, and I'm just picking this up right now, like one of those moments where collectively we want to get back into alignment.
Yes.
And those that don't help collective consciousness get back into alignment will then have illness. And if you don't learn from the illness, then you die. And the people that are still here are here to help us collectively get back into an alignment. And it's almost like the third dimension, we'll say the trips, we'll say the foods, we'll say the cars, we'll say the experiences that you receive are a byproduct of the gifts that you receive for staying in alignment to help consciousness raise the vibration collectively.
Right.
And I say that from the perspective of like, I look at myself as like a bougie yogi. I didn't have anything either growing up. And I lived in the ghetto as well. And my mom used to be like with gangs and hang out and a lot of crystal meth and drugs. And I took care of myself. My brother is 4 years younger than me and watched my grandfather have a massive heart attack in front of my face. Like my aunt was the only one who really was like I thought there, and like got out of Pittsburgh, Antioch, and got into Pleasantville, we used to call it, and like had our shit together. I always stayed pretty straight and narrow, made fun of, tubes in my ears, held back, diagnosed with colitis, large intestine inflammation, all these fucking labels, which none of that shit matters. I mean, it does matter from the perspective of you relating, if any of that does resonate with you. And so that's a part of my story. But what I'm getting at is like, it's interesting how we have those things happen to get us to where we're at. And if anything was different, even by a tiny little sliver, like we wouldn't be here today. Like
Right.
everything had to happen exactly how it happened for us to be co-creating today, right now, to help whoever it is have more liftoff.
Right.
That's why I love like the rocket ship and serving real estate agents turned into Liftoff and Liftoff Experience, and now Mr. Liftoff. It's a whole thing. So I love that. And I love that for you, and I love that for our viewers, and I hope this is going to help you, because I think that the old ideology of there's no cure for cancer and all this bullshit is now gone.
Yeah.
For those that believe that, I'm not here to tell anyone anything different than you believe, because that's your journey. So let's go deeper for you. So what is your thought process when you think about, you just said a couple things like, I don't want someone to have, I don't want to be a device, not device, but a vice for someone. I don't want someone to always depend on me on readings. You said when you are doing service does have a cap. So what is your vision? Like when you think about the future and you think about how you're showing up for humanity, what does that look like for you?
I think that it looks like me creating spaces for other practitioners to help other people, and me kind of being the one that brings it all together. I'm definitely big on like creating community. I think in my own little ways, they kind of naturally conglomerate based on the opportunities that I get that just like come my way.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I think in my ambitious dream is to create a creative wellness like retreat that's self-sustainable in many places throughout the world, where people can come and connect to all the modalities. And I do believe that art is also a modality, a healing modality. And
Yes.
so just having all the tools at their disposal in an isolated environment where you don't have to go anywhere, they don't have to, go out to eat, there's things there. And so just like, yeah, a self-sustaining place or hub for individuals who want to create and want that freedom to create. And when I say freedom, I don't just mean like financially, I mean like mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and being able to like get all the services that they need to be able to like get there. So I see like music studios, art studios, dance studio,
Wow.
having all the different practices, yoga, hypnosis, tarot, all
Wow.
of those things, and being able to offer that as a space for other people to access.
We have the time. I love that. One thing that comes up for me is when you're saying what you're saying, it brought me back to what you said earlier. Like, don't get me wrong, I still have stress. I still think at times, where's it coming from? And I feel that like the more that I see it, the more that I see that like money and monetary value and things, it's almost a way to dim our frequency and dim our light because of the fact that like we think we need to be somewhere to be different when we already have all the tools to be different there here, like they say, come from your future self of how you would feel, how you would think, how would you be in order to already be there in the present. Easier said than done. And then also it said like, okay, well, if you think about money and monetary value and all that type of stuff, people have these preconceived notions because they judge themselves against other people. They have a Bentley, I don't. They have a big house, I don't. So then people start to think like, oh, I'm less than, like, how do they get it? And I don't, and all this type of stuff. So I like the idea of you coming up with that space for people to be able to be abundant from the ability to create art and to think freely. And I think really thinking freely and getting out of the matrix is not needing to worry about finances and money and bills and responsibilities and chores and all of these things. I think that when you create a space that you're talking about, people that love doing laundry can do laundry.
Right.
People that love to do dishes can do dishes. It's like I was talking to, so at Liftoff, everyone has a vision board. I have about almost 22 on staff, and we do money motivation, and then we do monthly check-in, and I'm their coach. And so I was talking to yesterday, Chris, and I was coaching him because his wife can't stand dishes in the sink, and they just got married. And she came home, and she's like, "You've been home all day," even though he's working virtually for us, but he gets to work from home. And he's off by like 2 o'clock or something like that. But his priority list was different than hers. And then he was like, "It's not that big of a deal." And she was like, "No, it's that big of a deal. I worked all damn day, been on my feet. I'm super tired. I come home. I don't want to clean dishes. You've been home all day. You work virtually. You control your schedule. Can't you just?" And I'm like, "Chris, my wife said the same thing to me. I'm on the same page, bro. It's all good. But we got to meet each other where in the middle. So do the dishes, make the change necessary to make her feel happy so when she gets home she doesn't have any of that extra, because all that's going to do is help him and help her be able to co-create more
Right.
and go deeper and to be able to serve. So all right, you want to create these spaces. Let's talk a little bit more of what that looks like to generate the monetary value, sponsorship. What does it look like to be able to make it be self-sustaining from the perspective of, of course, there's ways to do it without technically needing money, but there will be some basic foundational stuff like, and they do this on purpose. The government does not own land, but they say they do, and they make us pay fucking taxes on land, which sucks, right? So even if you have your own land that you buy, you still pay taxes on it because they want to make sure that you're part of the monetary system no matter which way you look. It's innately what they do on purpose. It's set up that way. And so what would be some ways, I just want to mastermind here with you. I'm just curious
Yeah.
that you could set it up.
I think the most important thing is the people. I think that having the right network and the right amount of people in your pocketbook that you can reach out to.
That's why you came here.
Bring everything together.
I'm joking. I'm not.
So yeah, and also just like right now, I'm just gaining knowledge. I'm just learning. I'm studying.
Yeah.
And I think that another thing that that also like comes back into play is the music aspect, because I don't believe that I have this desire to create music for nothing. I do feel like it has the capacity to create that world for me. And so I still make the music, I still create, I still perform. And so like in a way I'm like, again, continuing in that roundabout way, like, okay, continuing to take steps out, expanding myself, expanding my range, expanding my network. it kind of like, like how mycelium works, and where it's
Mm.
like I can, as long as I have those connections, if
Mm-hmm.
when I'm ready to pull those resources, then
Mm-hmm.
I communicate, then I reach out and
Mm.
I say, hey, I'm ready. I have all the details, everything together. And
Mm.
now, now I need the people in order to make it happen.
I love that. I love that for you. Yeah, it's very powerful. I think they say your network is directly tied to your net worth, and yeah, there's people out there that will, there's millions and billionaires that are just like, it's not about the money. It's about the passion. It's about the purpose. It's about feeling like you're being of service to a bigger purpose than yourself. And you hear it. I heard the gentleman, he was just interviewed by the School of Hard Knocks guy. And he was the guy who created the streaming platform Kick, I believe it was.
Mm.
And he sold it for like almost $1 billion to Amazon in 2004. And he said after he sold it for 971 million, just under a billion, he's like, I felt like depressed because he went from like streaming every day, building Kick and doing all this type of stuff to like not having it anymore. And then like it was a sense of like purpose was gone.
Mm.
Now he's out of the matrix from the perspective of ever needing to think about a bill in the rest of his entire life. So it gives him the opportunity if and how he sets himself up to be able to do so much more. Like as an example, with Liftoff Agent, 15,000 agents across the country. We have about 500 now, and the goal is about 13 million a month, 166 million a year, and sell the company for about 500 million.
Mm.
So it's a little less than that story, but that would give me the ability to say, I don't need this anymore.
Right.
So what can I do? And it's funny that you're saying what you're saying because I was already talking to my partner Smith about developing like a liftoff, like ranch, maybe something in Oregon because that's where he lives, and then having different modalities there and team building opportunities to bring corporate, to corporate companies to our retreats. Because one thing that I'm passionate about is innovating not just the real estate industry for the standard and the level and the way that it's been done for so many years, but also innovating corporate. I feel like corporate needs reform, and
Absolutely.
each person and each of us play a role, whether it's the school system, politics, you name it. Everything needs reform. And so, with that being said, I'm like, okay, so if I could, and what you were saying is cool too, because I've had that thought before as well. Like make enough to be in a position to then maybe build one of those facilities, kind of like what you're saying. I would love to bring corporations to those facilities
Yeah.
and train the leaders and then the staff members, and not even train, but show them different modalities and different things that they never even knew existed.
Mm-hmm.
Because the number one issue within big business is frequency interruption because they're fragmented and they don't have the tools to be back in alignment because the leaders themselves are out of alignment because it's not here, it's here. I was pointing to my heart. Everything's in his head, our heads. Just for anyone who's listening and not watching on YouTube.
Yeah. I think it's also, I think a lot of corporate worlds don't consider the humanity of people.
Amen.
And I don't think that a lot of
Showing too much legs.
corporate industries care about building community.
Yeah.
It's like you work for me. We are not in partnership with each other. We're not creating together. It's like, you are pushing my dream. And I think that if corporate industries were more invested in also the dreams of the individuals that are supporting them, I
Yes.
think that it would go a lot further. There'd be a lot
Yes.
more
Yes.
content people. But I have seen like change. I have seen like different opportunities for like wellness practitioners working in like corporate companies. And I've always thought about like offering that for like health insurance companies, just like being able to go in and offer like supportive services in that way. But
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like the corporate world is still kind of they're still kind of not really connected to like I don't want to say the woo woo, but like that esoteric world.
ready
They don't
yet.
believe in the effectiveness of it, and
Yeah.
I don't think that they care enough about their people, to think that there's more than just sitting in a cubicle and coming in every day. Like, these individuals have whole separate lives outside of this, and if you never express interest in it, then it can make it hard for a company to grow and expand in a way that's sustainable. It's going to constantly be that revolving door. And so, yeah, I think that it would be beautiful for, corporate industries to care enough about their people to give them that sort of relief, especially considering, like you said, how much in the 3D you have to be in order to, like, subject yourself to that kind of work.
Yeah. When that AHR who can relate to this, when you walk through that door, everything
Right.
stays at that door. Okay. I don't care about what's going on. I understand you have things at home happening, but not in the workplace.
Right.
Most chaotic, not, I would say archaic way of thinking, where the philosophy for corporations out there, for any business owner, should be understand your client's goals with the intention to help them achieve those goals. Understand your team's goals, get their vision board, get their understand what they want to do. And if you directly link the client achieving their goals to your team achieving their goals, the company by default will get its goals met.
Right.
You don't even have to like the goals of the company. Yeah, of course you could say them on whatever 4 times a year. You say it, whatever. It's not in every single day. KPIs, SOPs. We got to do this. We got to do that. I was having a conversation with my partner this morning, and it from an ego standpoint, I will say, because I've been in the industry for almost 14 years. I met 16,000 plus agents before starting Liftoff Experience. I've interviewed over 605 people on real estate first technology, and grew internationally on accident. Go to the Philippines, travel internationally a couple times a year. Will we be in Korea probably, if not later this year, beginning of next? We were just in Japan, like I said earlier, in March. And it's one of those things where like you'll compare yourself and like, well, why aren't we not doing like $1 million a month already? We're supposed to be doing 13 million a month. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'll just be honest, like we're about to break like 100K, right? Like we did like 92 last month. This month should be about $100,000. And that's great.
It is.
Like you should be happy. You should be like, let's go.
Right.
Right.
Better than nothing.
Oh my God. Amen. And then you look at the other side of the coin, you're like, well, these companies, and then my partner said, well, we don't have any VC funding. We don't owe hundreds of millions or millions of dollars to big VCs.
Right.
We're bootstrapped. These other companies aren't spending $10,000 to $15,000 bringing their entire company to a resort and having team building opportunities like we are. I'm like, yeah, that's true. We don't really have any debt. So it's like, I think everyone has to sometimes like stop comparing someone's chapter 15 to your chapter 2. And that's something that I was just identifying on my own, just because I have my own goals and things I want to do, and I help my wife, and she's building her company, and then we all have debts and bills and things that we just want to be done with. But then at what sacrifice too? Because I have no excuse. I have some expensive cars to sell a car, and it's back to where I was. But it's like the secrets in the millionaire mind. They say, well, if you have option 1 or 2, why not have both? So I'm like, well, not both. Just make it a little harder. Why not?
I mean, but you have the drive to make up for it. And that's the difference between someone who lives above their means and someone who's like, who knows where they're going and is, doing that in real time, pursuing that in real time. I think that's the difference there. And your willingness to let it go if you have to make that sacrifice, and not feeling so attached to that material thing, to the point where you can't, just sacrifice that in order to take care of what you need to take care of.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that, because I think a lot of people have a hard time because of the ego, because of that. And I will say that, in contrast to, I had someone in the car community reach out to me needing some money and has a really nice car. And I'm like, well, things are shifting, things are changing. You have a family, you got this car. You might as well just get rid of it and take care of business. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's where we have to really, ask ourselves, what are we committed to? Because at the end of the day, it's just like materialistic items. You're not taking it with you. They're here today, gone tomorrow. It's whatever. I look at material items as just tools. Like this is just a tool, this office, these cameras, everything's just a tool for us to co-create and then share it with you all who are viewing and listening.
Right.
I like cars to be able to, just like you, I can relate. Here at this house, I do community events, and we've had upwards of, Dream Cars, Nissan GTR, you might have saw them when you walked in, so I have a GTR. And then we've had up to 17 here, and I've had up to 60 people, $5 million worth of cars, and just this co-creation, amazing opportunity. And then people get intrigued and they ask you like, how? And I look at certain things as tools to help the youth be able to unlock doors they didn't know how the keys to, because another way for them to be open-minded because you have something that they want
Right.
and they think that's going to make a difference in their world, but honestly they don't even need that thing. And then once you speak truth into them, because they open up their mind, and if they're willing to drink the water or go through the door, boom, magic happens.
Right.
Which is like, I want to do this for myself.
As you should.
Which is super cool. So I want to do something different. Okay, I'm gonna do something different, and I'm gonna navigate. I can't believe it's already been almost an hour and 40 minutes. So we got about 25 minutes left. One thing I want to say is that I like the idea of making this an experience. So I'm gonna open up the door. We don't have to do this, to potentially doing a tarot reading and maybe showing a live example if you're interested. Number one, I do have some cards as well. I don't know if they're tarot cards, but I have a couple different ones. I don't know if you have any on your side. And two, what if we flip the script? I made you the host of the podcast.
Okay.
And I'm curious, maybe if there's something that you want the viewers and listeners to really, because if anyone's still with us at an hour and 40 minutes, we're deep.
Right.
And I think that this is the opportunity for us really to take this moment in time, because you've invested this time with us right now to really give as much value and go as deep as we possibly can to really co-create here and just like, let's hit this shit out of the park.
Yeah.
So
Down.
so
I don't have cards, but if you have
you're good.
some,
You're good.
I could use them.
You can too? Okay. So is there anything on your side, and I'll text my wife on that. Is there anything on your side, like if you're the host, topics, you want to go down certain roads, questions, what do you got?
Um, I mean,
Honey,
what's
keep
like,
bringing our cards.
what's something that you want to accomplish? Like you talk a lot about your goals and things that you want to make happen. What exactly are those things?
I like that. I like that. Well, we made some decisions with what we're doing with, we have an LLC, NLK3 Reds. So my wife has Reds NT, I have Liftoff Agent. We came together. We're super untraditional. Thank you, honey. Appreciate you. There she is again, Reds in. We're super untraditional. So we house hacked this house. We have a travel trailer that's on Airbnb. We built a studio apartment upstairs that is being rented by a gentleman from Nigeria who is working at Google Center to be able to build another data center for AI. And that was on Airbnb. So it's a full-on studio apartment. And then we have a room that we rent as well. So before that, we were doing fix and flip. We flipped 8 properties, and each property we would invest back into this house. And this house was the ugliest house in the nicest block, and did all these things to it. So fast forward, the market started to shift. We were dealing with 55 plus in these retirement communities. And now we've encountered some debt in a company where it almost feels like it's just a dead end. It's almost like I'm polishing this turd. It's just not polishing. Extreme example, but long story short, it's just like we're now at these crossroads where it's just like we want to move on from that. And each season, we're coming into October, September, October is our busy season, where this house can bring in anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000 just with the house hacking activities, which is great. But we have $157,000 worth of debt. So at $157,000 of debt, my wife are at these crossroads like, okay, we want to get this stuff paid off so we can get closer to our next location, which is buying a house in Deer Creek. So then when it's hot here and she's out of school, our daughter, we can be up there. And then I can have a studio up there and be closer to nature and take hikes and just my father-in-law's up there. So he's in Deer Creek, very close to Payson, and we want to be in Boulder Creek, which is in Payson. So right now, one of the things that is closest to my heart is paying off these things, which I have access to money to be able to do it, but then it'd be debt. And then just balancing what that would look like. So that's one thing, is paying off stuff. That's what I want to do, to get that house. That's a thing that'd be really cool, really awesome. Um, and also help my wife, because I made some decisions that wasn't maybe the most favorable to be able to. I thought we were going to be in a way different situation,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't predict things in the market, and the universe gives you what you need to grow. So I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I don't even know why I did that, because my company's doing well. I don't even know why I went in that direction. So we have a lot of equity in the house. We could potentially use that. Money's really expensive to do that. We don't want a 30-year fix paying all that interest. Makes no sense. I can get potentially a personal loan. We have access to like $97,000, almost wipes it all clean. And the LLC, we're coming to a busy season, so potentially pay it all off. So I'm going to wait about a month and a half, 2 months, and see where we're at. Money should be getting cheaper, market gets better, plus I have some investments. So that's one thing that I really want to do right now. And then outside of that, with Liftoff Agent, really getting to the next level of growth, so we can be able to have more reoccurring revenue, to give myself additional raise, to be able to get in alignment for that next property. So it's not something that's going to be like a stressful thing. In the back of my mind, I'm sitting here stressing out about, every month the next mortgage coming up, and can we afford it, and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we're very blessed. Like the GTR I could sell, and 110 grand, I owe like 40 something on that, and that could pay off at two. And then we have like a travel trailer, so other stuff we could sell as well. So I think right now it's just getting free of some of these things that we feel like we're on a hamster wheel with, because it doesn't serve us anymore.
Right.
And I feel like a big thing for me is staying abundant, and not comparing myself, but staying abundant and knowing that the universe will provide, and it will come, and it will happen. And I'm also coming from a perspective with options. I'm not in a perspective where it's like we're selling the house. There's nothing else we could do. So I'm very grateful for that. So I think that would be the number one thing that I want to do with that and her, and get to that next step. I think that would be probably the number one thing that's on top of my mind.
Have you thought about bringing someone else into that business that you feel is not necessarily like something you're passionate about, but in a way is still creating some sort of revenue for you?
With LLC?
Right.
We did. We brought in Sun, and Sun helped with starting to flip with us. And we did one flip, and then he ended up investing in this house.
Mm-hmm.
So the front door you walk through, he invested in that. That studio apartment upstairs, he invested in that. He is very well off. So what's up, Sun, if you're listening to this? So he's not hounding us. He doesn't even care. But it's in the back of my wife's mind for sure, and also mine, because I feel like when you borrow something for someone, there's like that kind of like, we got to take care of him. So part of that 157 is 20 for him. So I did that already. I just don't know, honestly. Like I like the LLC and that company from the perspective of the houses can be in the LLC, and then we can write things off, because there's the Airbnb. But what people don't know about Arizona is that you have to get a privilege tax. They call it a privilege tax in Arizona. And then when you pay a privilege tax, you have the privilege to have an Airbnb. And they charge you a renewal fee every year. Then you got to tell them how much money you make, and then they get a piece of the pie, even though they don't help you with marketing or anything. It's like, I'm already paying taxes on the property. I'm already paying taxes on the land. Like, what more do you want from me, right? I'm just wanting to get ahead here. So I almost feel like the LLC is something that, like, it's needed for protection for the Airbnbs, but I don't know if there's anyone else that would be interested in coming in too much, or coming into that world and like really helping us outside of like maybe Airbnb management when we have two more homes. And then we have, because at the most we had three Airbnbs, and then we can have three, four, five in the next 12 to 24 months.
Nice. Do you have a deadline for like when you would like to like get like relieve yourself of all of that debt?
So I want the house in 12 months,
Okay.
and I want the debt to be gone in the next six,
Why
maybe
12 and
seven.
6?
Because we've been talking about it for such a long time that it's like, I want to be about it. I'm tired of talking about it, and we've been talking about this house, and we're gonna get it, and all these things, but like, it hasn't come. And I feel like there's ways for me. I feel like there's ways for us to get closer to it if we were just to strategize and come up with a plan, so we can just make it happen. And so that's where I feel like if I wait a couple months, maybe get like 50,000, pay some things off, consolidate. We come into the busy season for Airbnb. Now we're starting to cash flow, and I do like a 24-month loan. I potentially could pay that off pretty quick. If the market shifts, which I think it will, and then we could pull some money out of the house, like a HELOC, then we can pay off what's left, and then we can go put like 90 to $100,000 down on a place up north,
Gotcha.
and then have a pretty reasonable payment. Is my thought. So for me, I don't like to say I like to make things overcomplicated, but I like to make things a little complicated sometimes. I'm a very complicated person from the perspective of I like money movement. It's fun for me. So I have like a list right now because I have a GTR, a 2005 Neon SRT4, a 2021 Ram TRX, a 2024 Honda Santa Fe, a 2005 Jet Ski, and a 2022 travel trailer. And I have a spreadsheet for all those vehicles, and I'm buying the vehicles to be an opportunity for cash in the future because they're going to go up in value. Like the truck's worth like 80 grand, the GTR's worth 111,000, the SRT4 I got for 10,250 cash, and I could flip that pie for 17,000 because I'm a mechanic at heart. I used to basically go to school for AC and smog. My dad was a mechanic,
Cool.
and he used to be in the pits, and I love cars for like I just love that. So outside of my creative outlet like yours is working on cars. And I like to modify them and paint them and take them apart and put them back together. So I'm doing all the labor myself to save money and then bust up my knuckles. No. And then so today we're going to be doing the whole suspension this afternoon. We're doing the suspension, and I'm doing the rest of the brakes, and then I'm taking it to Big O tomorrow to get everything aligned, and then I'm going to take it to the shop to do the last little bit of like make sure the motor's good, and then if I want I could just sell it and make quick 13, 14. No, probably sell it for 17. So that's kind of like how my mind works is like I have all these things, that's going. And I have access to like 200 grand right now, but I don't like the idea of taking the debt because if it doesn't serve me and I'm just kicking a problem further down the line by I like consolidating it, but I don't want to kick it down too far. So that's where it's just like, I feel like it could come faster than what I'm thinking. I feel like I saw something about being intentional from the perspective of focusing on the one thing.
Right.
And what would that one thing be? Well, outside of what I already told you, the one thing is with Liftoff is to bring in 200,000 this month and just blow it out of the park, bring another 7 agents in. We've already brought 3 in this month, and then get that much closer to giving myself a pay raise. And then if we're blowing it out of the park, then I can also give myself a bonus. And then that bonus could then pay things off quicker
Right.
too.
Okay. So it sounds like you kind of have already figured out what you need to do, but you just haven't necessarily started to do it. So is there something that you can do in real time now, like a baby step that you can take towards it while you're waiting for that time frame to come around?
So yes, I'm going through and seeing where all the finances are, like where all the cars are at, what do we owe, what are the payments, getting that spreadsheet together. And then I'm going into my personal finances, going into the LLC finances and spreadsheeting it all down and looking at the different numbers to see like what's going to be quicker to pay off, what can we take a little longer to pay off, and what are all that look like. And then so that way I can get closer to October and be able to say, okay, cool, October, where's money at? Plus paying off some of my debt. I was thinking, okay, if I pay off some of my debt, and I do have some savings, I do have some investments. So if I could pay off some of my debts and I can get a higher credit score, even if money doesn't get cheaper and I have a higher credit score, I could still get a lower interest rate.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, so I can at least give myself a lower interest rate if I was in the 800s instead of being in the 700 credit score. And I'm very close to that. And I know that you have to have 30% DTI per credit card or less for your credit score to be higher. And one of the cards that I have was getting to like 50, 60% ratio. And I'm like, oh shit, I got to pay that down to a 30% so then I can get closer to being able to have the higher credit score. So I have some cash from like, does it make sense to have it sit there just to sit there? Or like they talk about money movement. Let's keep this shit moving, get the credit better, quicker, pay off some stuff that I don't have to pay off with the lump sum loan that I can get later, and then get cheaper money, which will help with our cash flow. So when Airbnb's hitting, then I could get a raise with Liftoff, and then I can have Airbnb money pay off the loan, and then I can even have a raise, and then I can take that money to even pay off a loan quicker too. So maybe I can get it paid off in 12 months. So we'll have good DTI, and then we can get that house and make everything work out.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you kind of know everything that you need to do. It's just a matter of like waiting for timing and then actually doing the things. To take it a step further, like, okay, so the goals are about generating income for yourself. What are you using that income for specifically? Like, do you have a goal for like what you want to use that money for, or is it just like creating a bank of money to have?
So the idea is to have enough money to bless more people. So like say for instance, I have like $300 cash on me and we'll travel or we'll go wherever and I find myself just giving it all away. I just tip this person, give that person. So you ever watch those videos when people just like bless someone, like
Yeah.
Zach for like he gets a GoFundMe account and then somebody's dealing with some trauma and then it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars he raises and he just gives them like a car and a house. Like that's what I want to do. So I want to be able to get to a level where I can bless people and either whether it's an experience or like the last GTR event, I raised $350 to be able to bless someone. It's been really hot. I've been doing a bit of traveling, but I still need to do that. So I feel like as I have more surplus, then I can be able to do more to give more and take care of my wife because she's struggling and she's trying to grow her company and
Right.
she's I'm already offsetting her income so then I can take over her car payment because she still has it on her side and she's a woman and she's independent and she wants to do things for herself and I respect that. So I'm like slowly but surely taking things off of her plate and her feeling okay with that. So then she could be good and just focus on Reds and Tea. So even like what I just told you, she was like, well, what about me? Like, I want to run some ads. Holiday seasons are coming. Pumpkin pie's coming out for my matcha. And I'm like, all right, let me factor in, see if I can get you an extra 5,000 because she liquidated her $90,000 retirement 401k to do the fix and flip that now is gone. But if you look around the house, we got the blinds, we got the new table. We did a bunch of upgrades. So monetarily wise, if you look around, it's like, oh, this is really nice. And that came from the fix and flip. Each flip, we would do something new to the house to keep it fresh and interesting. But now it's like, okay, we need to reevaluate and we got to get your company to a point where eventually she wants to have enough to be my sugar mama, which we joke around about that. We joke around about that. But no, that's what I really want to do is be able to not have money be a problem anymore, not have money be a thing anymore. And we both love to just bless people in random ways, like whether it's a big tip that's not being expected, or just doing just random things. Just to like back in California, we did a YouTube video. We like, all right, well, how much can we make? How many sandwiches can we make for $100? And then we just went out to Oakland and we just handed out sandwich bags and water bottles and chips to as many people as we could find on the streets. And so want to do more of that. I think that would be a beautiful thing to be able to serve and support. And that's why I want Liftoff to get to a point too, where then I can help also my team and give them the ability to have generational wealth, serve their families, do so much more based off achieving their vision boards, but also be able to have the ability to think differently for themselves, being proactive instead of reactionary, to regulate their nervous system and then make more money and then be able to take care of their family and then be able to take them on trips. And so my team's already like renovating parents' houses, taking them on trips that their parents have never been on a plane before. So it's already happening. I just would like it to happen at a higher rate of speed from the perspective of not so much ego or look at me like that, but from the perspective of like being able to, for me, life is an experience. So I want to have more experiences and drive new things and fly new places and travel new places and bless new people and just like experience cool things because people forget what you said and did, but they won't forget the way you made them feel. So if you could do something to bless them and make them feel something special and be like, where did that come from? Like my neighbor, her car's falling apart, and she's helped so many people for so many years. I would love just to be able to bless her with freaking a new SUV, and she not even expect it, and she doesn't even speak that much English. She's from Mexico, and everyone she serves everyone, but not like the kids don't come together. It's a huge family. Buy her a freaking car, dude. Like her garage doesn't even open. The garage door doesn't even open up by itself. And like my friend's over there, he's gonna come over tonight to help me with the car. And like no one's fixing the damn garage door. Like so she can park her car in there. It's baking in the sun and it's getting worse. And then she has a towel that for her arm to sit down. So these are things that I want to have to a point where I say fuck you money to be able to just be like, okay, so like so Chelle, you want to do this. Okay, break it down. How much do you need? Okay, cool. Done. Here's a million. and then you just go do it. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be so freaking cool. So I'm working past self and some self-limiting beliefs and some stuff that's coming up for me to really be able to get to that next level and be able to be just past this monetary thing and the value of what it is and what people think it should mean and all this type of stuff. Because just yesterday I was comparing myself, some of these manifestors, spiritual people that are like, I'm 24 and I make $1 million a month. And I'm just like, what the heck? But I'm on a different path. So I have to remind myself, you're on a different path. It's okay. Just
Yeah.
trust the process. It's like, I get it. Kentucky Fried Chicken didn't even make it until he was in like his 70s. You know what I'm saying? He finally like got it. So I hope that does give you enlightenment. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. I think it's very interesting and honestly amazing that, the desire that you have is beyond yourself. There's not necessarily a goal of like, I want to make this certain amount of money in order to do something for myself. I'm wanting to do for other people.
Yeah.
Was that always like your vision in regards to like the specific goal that you're wanting to accomplish? Or did it kind of happen as you were like, because you were saying that you and your wife have been like talking about doing this, but you haven't actually done it. Do you feel like the motivation like needed to come for you to feel that inspiration to like actually take action? Or do you feel like the goal was different then as it was now?
Yeah, I think ever since I remember, I used to do security work and nightclub promotion, and I worked a bunch of places too, like car parts and Costco and Safeway and like all these different places. And I'd say that I remember telling myself like I want to make $1 billion and just give it all back. I remember having that conversation and how cool it would be, because I feel like right now when you think about a lot of the influencers, whether it's Gary Vee or Mark Zuckerberg, or you look at Alex Hormozy, and the list goes on and on and on to all these different people. Like they don't really show kind of the day in day out.
Right.
It's a lot of polished stuff. And so for me, I always told myself I want to be able to show the good, the bad, the ugly. So if you follow me on my social media, my stories is packed with that. My wife says, "Want to find Norm? Look at his stories. He has freaking you know where exactly he's at." So I think being vulnerable, being honest, being transparent is what's missing in the world. So that's how I show up with all my content since day one. I think not having much growing up and coming from a place where I'm living in trash bags and my stepfather hating me and not understand why my mom like unconditionally loved me because I was her son and I came with the package. And then seeing my grandfather being a little bit of a hustler, and he used to do flea markets, and he had baseball cards, and he had TV here and TV here, watching two different games, and seeing how he always hustled. And my dad used to work on cars in his garage; he was always hustling too. So I can relate to you on a lot of this hustle stuff. I didn't want to hustle. Like I wanted to get to a point where, like, yes, I've been hustling, but I want to get to a point where I have work-life balance, where, like, this company is like at 85% runs itself. 15% is me, and I'm making almost 160,000 a year. I don't have to hustle. I have more options. You know what I'm saying? So for me, and I never really said a lot of this stuff publicly before. So if you're in for an hour and 2 hours now, like you're a real one. So I think I've always been someone that had like a servant's heart, and I knew that I wanted to collectively help consciousness in a bigger way. I just like this show. I'm not selling anything. I don't have merch. If you want to like and subscribe, thanks. It's not needed. Liftoff Agent sponsors this. I do this for a passion project. I don't have to do this. I just do it because I feel that this is in alignment for what's next. And I want to set myself up for success after this company is sold and gets to the next level. So when you asked me that question earlier, have you ever thought about something for NLK3 Reds LLC and maybe someone coming on to help with that? No, but for this, yes. Like Liftoff Agent and helping grow the sales department and someone coming in for that company, 100%. Because the next point of interest to scale is the sales department, because I'm doing all the sales myself. And I need somebody to come in who has a passion, who fucking cares about humanity, who wants to go deeper to help agents achieve their goals, to be able to lift off that company. That's something that I'm probably more passionate about than the LLC, because for all I care, that can just go away. I'm hate the fact that I have to pay a privilege tax. I think that is so stupid. It's such a stupid name to call it. Like, it's not a privilege. I'm a hustler. I'm an entrepreneur. It should be entrepreneur tax or something. I don't know. So I think it's since been day one. I think that as things happen over time, I got more clear about how I want to serve and support and what that looks like after seeing Mr. Beast and how he shows up and what he's doing to donate and help people, and then other people on Instagram and how that platform works. I'm just like, So I've always verbally been of service. I've always verbally given, positive outlook, positive motivation, that type of stuff, or always open up my house, or doing this podcast for just because. Like I started the Liftoff RE versus Tech because I knew I wanted to connect with realtors during COVID when I couldn't connect with people. This I started just because I was like, I want to go deeper. I want personal, professional, and spiritual conversations, and I want to go deeper for humanity so we can all have more liftoff. And then now I'm like, shit. Like for me, my 70th birthday, not mine, but my mother-in-law's 70th birthday is coming up, and I wanted her car's breaking down. I just wanted to go buy her that new Santa Cruz truck because she loves it. And I just wanted and then my father-in-law, like he wants the Corvette, and I do car meets and stuff. It'd be cool to have him come with me. I just wanted to just buy those things for him. So I was like, I thought I was going to win 90 million or 100, what it was, a billion for the lotto that just went by. That shit didn't work. So I'm not investing in lotto anymore. I'm fucking done with it. But those are the things that come up for me, and the ways that I want to serve. So right now I'm just doing a little here, a little there, like $100 tip here. Or, I went to San Diego a week and a half ago for an Inman conference. The guy was helping me out with the car wash. It was $15. I gave him a $20 tip and said, dinner on me. And just see how he lit up. He was just like, oh, dude, thanks, bro. Like, appreciate you. Like, that feels so good because that helps humanity see that there's still humanity out there. There's still people that give a fuck out there. And I don't like being showboaty. I'm pulling up in $100,000 truck and I'm so cool to know, like, here's $20, dude. Go get dinner on me. I see you with your headphones. No one's talking to you. You're all by yourself. Like, I got you. And it's something simple, but you never know how that can affect someone in a way where it's not even about the money. It's about the exchange of energy that maybe he never felt before that makes him feel like, whoa, God is real. Like, universe is amazing. Like, this is super cool. So is that going to answer your question?
Yeah. My next question would be, like, in the event that the 12 months, 6-month plan doesn't work, is there another avenue that you have considered that doesn't require you to put necessarily your own income, your own effort into it, to serve other people and support other people?
Like, you talking about like to get in the house, or just saying like in general, like for like income to just
Just in
serve?
general, because you said that you've been a part of experiences where you've raised funding for
Hmm.
other individuals, and so is there a way that you can create another avenue where that is a focus, like
Yeah.
just raising funds versus you feeling like you have to do
It out
it
of my own
on your
pocket.
own?
It could be a
Yeah.
community thing. I think 100%. I think as soon as the company Liftoff agent can start to be more self-sufficient, and I could be more of a mentor, a coach, a leader. I get on podcasts, I get on stages, and I can just be the face of the organization and be the catalyst for change within the organization. Then I would love, like, this podcast has started, and when I do my check-ins, I actually tell my team to watch certain podcasts because Bernadette, shout out Bernadette for watching this, watch Casey's podcast. She just lost her dog, and I said you do know that you probably can connect with her with a medium that specializes in contact on the other side, and there's mediums that contact dogs and all types of things. And she's like, oh my God, really? And she had no idea. So I said, watch that episode with Casey because she is a medium and you never know what can come about with that opportunity. And she's like, okay, yeah, cool, cool. I'll check it out. I'll see what's up. So I do leverage this for that. And I think that it'd be really cool that because I could build sites and intake forms and we could take payments and like I already know all of that stuff in and out. So it wouldn't be hard to say, I don't need to go fund me or anything like that that's going to charge fees, and basically find individuals in the community of Arizona and just do what I do on video. I have all the equipment and I can put a body cam on and put the freaking meta glasses on and make it super intimate and just be present. And I remember I saw something, there was a 90-year-old woman that was like living at a park. And this lady talked about this woman who lost everything and then her daughter passed away. And then she was living out of her car, but it was so hot that the car AC stopped working. So she couldn't even have AC in the car anymore. So I think that that definitely could be an amazing opportunity. I think what comes up for me is that as an entrepreneur, sometimes we can get spread in so many different directions.
Right.
And I feel like we do need to be focused with our core competency. Like the Airbnb stuff, like that's just autopilot. The car stuff, like that's just for fun. Liftoff is where I spend about 85 to 90% of my time is with Liftoff. Like as soon as we're done with our podcast, I still have 2 hours worth of work just with Liftoff that I need to finish. And so that's kind of like in the file in the back of my mind as far as like things to do after the podcast file. And then outside of that, my whole schedule is already booked. Like Monday's filming content day for our YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel for agents to help them grow. Wednesdays is filming content day for real estate versus technology, and then Fridays is filming content day for for Liftoff Experience. And then I have my personal YouTube channel that I'm already filming a video for in the process of doing this SRT for and going through and showing me restoring it, which will come with the actual sale of the car. I have the original 2 keys, I have the original window sticker, and I want them to see the documentation of how I restored it. So it's a part of the package so they see how much passion I put into it. So I'm very calculated with everything that I do. I just have to be mindful of like, if I take on too much, what's going to starve? Is it going to be my wife and I's relationship or my time with my daughter? Because I'm doing so many things and I'm not seeing, and not that everything has to have a return on investment, but if I'm not seeing a monetary value from it, then I feel like I have to be conscious of like the girls like to go out to dinner. Like my wife likes what she likes as far as like her dinners, or I want to get her massage every once in a while because she does stress a lot. I am supplementing her income. I do want to make the next level of income with Liftoff Agent. So I was like, I have to be focused in that arena. And then everything else is like, just like icing on the cake, cherry on the top, kind of like fun.
Yeah.
So hope that answers your question.
Yeah, so it sounds like, I mean, you kind of already have those things running itself,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds like the next goal is more so about finding another person to support that so that you can kind
Mm-hmm.
of offload that. So have you already started thinking about like what that person looks like?
I started the process. We had an individual last year who was a teacher and who was an agent, so she already understand real estate. And unfortunately, she was on the show. Shout out. No hard feelings. She's amazing. Jen, she Native American, used to live on the Indian tribe, and she's now with Jeremy. Jeremy was also on the show too. Shout out Jeremy. He's a coach. He's awesome. She ended up going that direction with Jeremy. Totally fine. She's following her passion, going to real estate. All more power to her. And after getting to talk to Jeremy, I think that there's something to be said about certain individuals and mindset and like where that mindset is set to and how that potentially could be the catalyst for why someone is where they're at, because maybe they need to turn up the dial a little bit, or maybe they need to try to be more open-minded to see things differently, because we all, I feel like, self-sabotage ourselves. And that's why you're here. That's why we're here. That's why this show's here, to like hopefully help you open your mind to be like, so the person, I had 3 people I was talking to. They all didn't work out because I think the number one thing is self-worth and confidence. If you don't have self-worth, you don't have confidence in what you specifically, who you are specifically, and like and the value you have to offer the world, then if you learn a skill or a trade or say real estate marketing, it won't matter if you don't feel confident in self
Right.
to be able to take in the actual information and know that maybe only if it's been a month or 2 months or 6 months that you still can relay the information and be a consultant, because we don't sell, it's consultative. So I go through, like we had an agent today who came in and she's a year in and she's like, yeah, I want to, find out some more information, 20-year broker I'm working with. And she was giving me all this information. I slowed her down. I said, wait a minute. So is this for you or for him or for both? Both. I said, okay, well, with all due respect, I think the best thing we could do is make sure he's here. I said, you don't work for Liftoff? I said, you're going to remember 10 to 15% of what I'm going to tell you. Even if I send you the recording, the AI notes, your broker, he's not going to watch it. And you're going to waste my time and your time. And I'm not going to meet with you guys again to get everyone on the same page. So I said, reschedule a meeting. Let's get both people on the same page in the meeting. So like that's the level that we're at. So it's like finding someone who understands that like it's consultative. We want to help understand the goal of the agent. We want them to have success with the process. We're not for everybody. And even who we work with, they have to have the right mindset too, because it's like a tool in the toolbox or your tarot cards. If they never come out, you don't use them, then what's the purpose of them?
Right.
And you can't go to a store and say, hey, I bought these tools, man, and they don't work. And they're like, well, did you use them? No. How long you had them for? 6 months. Sorry, the return policy is 30 days. We can't return the tools. Sorry. So that's where I feel like I'm allowing the universe to lead me to the person and let that be organic. I'm not pushing for that because I feel like where we're at currently, we're getting to the point where our reoccurring revenue is almost our goal is 100,000 for a month for the longest time. And I feel like our reoccurring revenue is going to hit 100,000 reoccurring a month before we actually hit the income itself. This month's the month though. And I just said two. I said two just because, like, fuck it, two. We're going to do two, you know? But I'm like 99.9% sure we'll hit at least 100 because I see the pace that we're on and all the things. So, and we're not cheap. We're like, average startup cost is like $5,000. We're charging 200 to 2,500 a month. We have a 90% retention rate, and the first person that we worked with since the conception of this company will retire with us because we have a family-based business. We go deeper in relationships. We're not here to just sell someone on a service. And we just hired Mark, which is our customer success manager, who's married to Bernadette, who's been with us for 6 years in the Philippines in the social department. And now Mark's going through every single one of our clients, making sure they're on program. Instead of us going wider and just getting more agents and hitting the 15,000 goal like every other corporation, no, let's go deeper. Let's have meaningful, deeper conversations to make sure people are on program, because then that's low-hanging fruit, additional MMR, monthly recurring revenue, additional income to hit our $100,000 goal, and then we can start to get to the next level to have more success by bringing in more deal flow, more sales. But today's appointments, one was because of social media and one was because of YouTube. That's how they found us.
That's awesome.
So I have like 260 videos on Liftoff Agents YouTube channel on just education, and I have like 15 specific different downloads and free resources, from generating leads to getting on YouTube, intro videos for the homepage of your website that I developed. So well over 15, probably 20,000 hours in this organization. And it's been a blessing. It's been amazing. But we'll see. I'm just going to let that happen organic and see what happens. And, I want that person to be passionate and see the opportunity, because if this is going to be a multi-million-dollar organization, then we're all going to eat good.
Right.
It's not just me. We're all eating good. I even told my team, I said, I can't wait for the day, because a lot of these companies, they go through an IPO and they have their ring the bell if they go IPO, or they go through a merge acquisition, they get sold, and the executive board CEOs make all this cash. I can't wait for the day for when that happens for me to go and like go to my actual team's door, knock on their door, and bless them right there on their doorstep. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to surprise them, fly to the Philippines, and they'd be like, what? Like, it's our one-to-one check-in and we're doing it in person? And be like, yeah, and like, thank you for everything you did, and change their entire reality. And then on top of that, break down what is it specifically that you want to do with this, so we can make sure that they're set up for success as well, because no one needs just $1 million check. Right. And have no understanding or clarity as far as where they're going with it, because if you're not set properly, you'll just go back to where you started.
Absolutely.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like ultimately like the overarching theme is just like time.
Yes, it really is. Because I look at it from the perspective of, I already told myself that I'm going to live a very long time. And I can feel that from the perspective, because that's a part of the process to help consciousness elevate. I don't like it when people say I'm getting old. I think that is the most cliche term you can possibly use. I feel that I'm getting younger, I'm getting healthier, I'm getting happier, I'm getting just more vibrant. And I tell myself all the time. And even now, my daughter's doing affirmations, and my wife, we're doing it all together. There's the one, I don't know if you've seen the video, says, every single cell in my body is happy and well. Every single cell in my body. And like, we've been saying that to ourselves. And so I did a video just before our podcast talking about that, because I think so many people put these labels out there. And like, I'm about to be 41. And so I don't see myself as 41, and I don't feel 41. And I was just at the gym putting up 100-pound dumbbells on bench press flat. And the guy next to me is all like, big dude, freaking perfect teeth, Mr. fucking Ken doll. And he was just like trying to give me a spot, which was super cool. And then he was starting to get into his ego a little bit about, I hurt my shoulder, so I can't do as much right now. I'm getting kind of old. And I'm like, don't tell yourself that shit, dude. It's fine. And you don't have to prove yourself to nobody, dude. Like, and I've been doing super lightweight these days and just slow and controlled movements to like really break down the muscle fiber. And yeah, ego, it hurts me because I'm not doing heavy weight. But then I get that one day a month that I get to do the heavy weight. And it's just like, you feel like, fuck yeah, I did that shit, you know?
That's awesome.
It feels great. So I hope that answers all your questions. And wow, I can't believe 2 hours, 14 minutes. Can you believe it?
No.
It's freaking crazy. So
Awesome.
yeah, I mean, I appreciate you taking the challenge to flip it and to ask me those questions. Cause if y'all don't know, like, we just met, like literally just met. We've never really like met before. I want to say my team found you, and I've been working on them finding really cool people that could be a good fit so we can co-create here. So this was just a blessing just to be able to go back and forth with you. And I hope you all got something from it. And I know I got something from it. Did you get something from it?
Definitely did. It was even just inspiring hearing your story. And just one thing that I wanted to say to kind of like sum up everything. I think that it's important for you to celebrate all of those things. It sounds like you have a desire to like give this to everyone else, but at the same time, it sounds like you have a hard time like saying how amazing you are, like saying it to yourself. I know you said earlier you had a hard time looking in the mirror. And I think that especially if you went through like trauma growing up in childhood, you said that you were teased as a child, and so like growing up, you can kind of, it can be hard for you to like look at yourself as the amazing person that you are, and to accept that and to like sit in that and to not feel any ego, like, or to not feel or hear the voices in your head that were out there telling you like you're nothing, or you're not all that you say you are, or you think you're too big. I think it's important for you to really take the time to see just how much you've done, how much you've accomplished, how much you've already given, and understanding that like that's a big thing. And if you haven't taken time to really acknowledge that and celebrate that, versus the constant like, okay, I've accomplished this, now I got to do this, now I got to do that, now I got to do that. I think that it just sounds like there's time needed for you to really sit down and say like, this is what I've done. And I think that from what it sounds like, if you had that bigger picture, it would help you see that you've already done everything that you're wanting to do. And it's more just about expanding that and beginning that versus like feeling like it's something that you haven't done yet.
Wow. I love that. I love that. Thank you for watching today's episode of the Liftoff Experience, as it is our intention to be able to help you have more liftoff in your life, personally, professionally, and spiritually. That's why we bring on amazing individuals and amazing episodes to be able to help you do as such. New episodes come out every single Saturday. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment below with one thing that you took away from the episode. And if you have a compelling story that you wish to share and you want to come to Phoenix, Arizona, Gilbert, Arizona specifically, to our recording studio, we'd love to have you on an episode. And a big thank you to Liftoff Agent, who does the thumbnail, writes the copy, does all the content for our show behind the scenes. That's all I do is find guests, point and shoot, and have a good time. So thanks so much to Liftoff Agent team. Thank you so much for staying to the end of the episode. And just do us a favor and like, subscribe, give us your feedback so we can get this out to more individuals. And of course, you could share this with someone else that you think that should see it, because at the end of the day, we all have to help each other and serve each other to have more liftoff. And now, our YouTube channel, you can go ahead and see all of our other videos. If you're listening to this, just go to the Liftoff Experience on YouTube. And if you're watching this, then you can see on the screen that we have lots of episodes that you can take a look at and you can watch today to be able to go deeper with different subject matters to help you have more liftoff in your life. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. God bless. We'll see you all on the next one.